For people who want to know what is the KeithAndrewNetwork, the whole point of my talk show is to show you that even with having a learning disability, I can still amount to something. And at the same time, I'm able to turn myself into an example for people out there dealing with any types of learning disabilities and disabilities to never give up and prove people wrong. Prove to them that labels do not dictate who you are and who you're going to be. To prove them, still amount to something.
What's going on? My name is Scott Churchson. I've been an actor and stunt person in the New York City and New Jersey area for now 12 years. Time flies when you're really having fun. Thank you, as always, to the Keith Andrew Network for having me on. I support the Keith Andrew Network. He's awesome. He's charismatic. You know what? He is somebody you want to get to know, hang out with, because he's got a ton of people that he's talked to that are way cooler than me. But anyway, thanks as always, Keith. You're awesome. Take care.
Great to catch up with both of you. It's been a long time. As you can see, my video quality got so much better. This is episode 927. Now, with that being said, both of you have been on the show before. It's got to be a combination of the very first time, but then we're going to talk together in a little bit. But first, I'm going to start off with Scott Churchill. How you been, and welcome back to the Keith Andrew Network.
I'm doing all right, man. I'm doing all right. Yeah, it has been a long time for you and me. It's got to be, well, geez, I remember you from like 8 years ago. I think it was the first time way back, we had this done. Congratulations, by the way. 900 and, what would you say, 920 what episodes?
927.
At respect, right off the bat, just respect for that. But yeah, thank you for having me back on, man. I appreciate it.
No, absolutely. And Bruce, it's great to see you again.
Yeah, I've been on this like my fourth time or something like that.
Oh, I
got to get you to pronounce my last name better than that, though, because if you read it, you'll probably get it closer. But it sounded like you said Heinsius. It's closer to Heinsius, like high come see us.
Or Celsius, yeah, basically.
Right.
Celsius, Heinsius, there you go, yeah.
Yeah, that'll work.
So, actually, while you have the Power Ranger stuff, it's for people who may not know, you are the head photographer for Mighty Morphin Power Rangers Season 1 and Season 2. And hey, if you have any artwork, I would love to buy some.
Season 1 only. And I wasn't the head photographer. I was the only photographer on the set the first season.
Nice.
1993, the original Mighty Morphin Power Rangers. So these are these are the pictures that I took on the set. Except the one where I'm doing it. That's me doing a flying kick over the Power Rangers. Those are cosplayers in Pasadena. So I learned how to do the flying kick while I was working on the show, and I mastered it. So people think I'm like some high-level black belt or something. And one guy on the internet tried to challenge me to a fight because we were having an argument. He's like 5'10", probably 250 pounds or something like that. And here I am. I'm only like 5'3.5" or something like that, weighing a little over like about 120 pounds. And he challenged me. He challenged me to a fight because I think he thought that makes me a tough guy.
But the problem with that is even if he wins, he's 5'10", you're 5'3". That's not going to be a good look for him regardless.
Well, I don't know if he was aware of how petite I am, but anyway, and also to add to that, he was a fugitive and a convicted felon who was being in trouble for shooting somebody in the face over money. The guy survived, so he wasn't a murderer, but still, that's the guy who threatened me.
Good you didn't pick up on that. Sorry, Andrew. Keith, go ahead.
No, absolutely. They're actually doing speaking of shootings, because it is freedom of speech, self-expression, but that isn't my format anymore. I completely changed all that. But you do have the right to say whatever you want. There was this wrestler, I'm drawing a blank on his name, Carlos, whatever. He was like a UFC fighter, MMA fighter, And it made a big deal of him being a WWE because he went to Saudi Arabia and he fought Brock Lesnar. Well, long story short, the guy was a piece of shit. And he shot, uncensored, and he shot somebody.
He's a piece of poop.
Wow. And the argument that we had was ironically about whether God exists. And I said, if you're a believer in God, I thought you're supposed to be righteous. And he goes, who said I'm righteous? It's like, okay, whatever.
No, I'll give you an example. We were coming back from, I had to get a new razor because mine broke. We were coming back from Target. There was this Hasidic guy standing in the middle of traffic on the side of the road, almost in the middle of traffic, holding up a sign for "We Want Trump." And it's kind of like, okay, I get it. You're mad at Joe Biden, but you can't go, and we can talk about anything you guys want to, but I'll just give my 2 cents. But you can't go from one extreme to another. We'll look at it like this, and this is the first question I want to ask you, Scott. How have you been during the pandemic? And it's kind of like, we slowly came out of it, slowly, and there's more cases of the pandemic firing up. Now we're on a brink of World War III. It's kind of like, what happened?
Here's the thing I'll say about this. The world is always on the brink of World War something. Yeah. War generates more revenue than peace does. Fear generates more revenue, and more conversations throughout news outlets and social media than tranquility and a unified life is. So I'll see World War III when I see it. I mean, we were supposed to have World War III back in the 80s. We were supposed to have World War III back in the early 2000s. We didn't have them then. We were supposed to have it in 1960s with obviously Vietnam and the Red Scare and all this kind of stuff. Every 20 years, we're always supposed to have World War III. Every 20 years after World War II, we've had a threat of World War III. I'll believe it when I see it, and when I see it, I'll deal with the thing.
If you guys want to see a great interview, actually, Bruce, I want to hear your thoughts, then I will tell you about the other interview.
Okay, well, today a friend of mine who's a Biden hater and a Trump lover, he posted all the couple of things that he blamed on Biden, including gasoline prices and World War III. And I go, well, first of all, you can't just put gasoline prices on the president. There are a lot of other factors that are playing into why the prices are so high. And secondly, World War III is possibility, but it's not here, so you can't put that on him. You know what I mean? It's not here. It's just like he was saying, it's a threat, but it's been a threat for a long time, and hopefully we are smart enough to know that we have too many weapons that can destroy everything, that we can't have World War III ever.
Well, go ahead, Scott.
I was going to say, as somebody who is the political equivalent of Switzerland, which roughly translates to, I stay out of politics as a general rule, but if you come at me, I'll pretty much bury you. That's my kind of general take with this. My general attitude on politics is I don't like to join a side basically where you have a bunch of people who spend their entire lives completely 100% broke, arguing, debating, fighting, screaming, swearing, and defriending people, all to argue over which 1%er is better.
No, you're right. When I was actually reaching out, and this is the next thing I want to talk about, you guys have 72 hours for the permission forms. Back in the day, now I feel old. It's almost 9 years. But we get to that. I gave everyone 30 days. 30 days, say if you ever change anything, you want me to edit it, no problem. Now you have 72 hours. And I just want to throw that out. This June 10th, is my 9-year anniversary. I would love to have both of you be a part of that. And also for my 10-year anniversary, we're going to do something in person. Hopefully things widen up and once everything gets better. But I actually was going to say something. I completely lost my train of thought. But with that being said, I didn't even know you were on Blue Bloods. I know you Scott, you did a couple other shows. But I have to definitely add you to that list of blue bloods.
Yeah, sure. You know, I'm fortunate. I mean, in this case, I came into the film industry about 12 years ago, so I didn't know a damn thing from anything. But it's been a good run. I mean, from where you are, sir, clearly it's warmer and actually still daylight. So I'm guessing you're West Coast. If it's 5:30 at night, and clearly where you are right now, we got like 25 degrees and snow. So, wherever you are is filling in on that. But here in the New York area, we've been very, very fortunate with the amount of work that's been available, especially on the TV front. Movies are a little more hit and miss, but there are so many TV shows and so much work to be found in the New York, even New Jersey area that I'm very, very blessed to have come in at the time I did. Really. Very lucky.
Okay.
Yeah, absolutely. And by the way, Bruce is on the West Coast. But yeah. I would love to take this. I would love to take the sun over. Scott, where in New York are you?
Actually, I'm in New Jersey, about 8 miles west of the GW.
Oh, that's not so bad. I'm on the border of New Jersey, by Greenwood Lake.
Okay. Yeah, so you're kind of like Rockland County-ish, sort of.
Yes, Rockland's only a half hour.
You're in Greenwood Lake. You guys had a film festival there for 3 years that I can tell you 100 stories about.
Don't go for it.
The Hoboken Film Festival was up there for 3 years after moving from Middletown. So, yes, apparently they were there for three years. I knew you guys had like Louis Gossett Jr. there. You had Tia Carrere. I think Marty Cove was back there again. A few other people as well. So Gilbert Godfrey usually MCs that event. But I know Greenwood Lake mainly for that.
Well, what about Woodbury Commons? You ever been there?
Yeah, but not in probably 15, 20 years. Years ago, I had a buddy of mine that lived in Harriman and Monroe. So I was more familiar with that and Woodbury Commons, the Galleria, more then than I am now.
Well, if you're ever in the area, we should definitely get lunch or something.
Sure.
But actually, I want to do something fun. It's change up the format. Now, Bruce, you are a photographer. Do you have any questions you want to ask Scott? Because I want you guys to network and ask each other questions. Make it more spontaneous. Because Scott is in the entertainment world and you're in the photographer world. So you guys pass each other notes.
Right. Well, I'm also a filmmaker in general. So cinematographer, sometimes director. So I mix it up with a lot of stuff. So, but my photography is very versatile, whether you need portraits or product photography or, the whole gamut. I can adapt to pretty much any style of photography or need. So, as you know, I did behind the scenes photos where I had to try to stay out of the way of the production and take pictures without making any clicking noises or whatever. But now I have a camera that's mirrorless, so if I want to, I can make it practically silent without having to put the camera into a blimp to make it quieter. So that's a game changer for me. Because putting the camera inside a metal box and then trying to squeeze the camera to my head, it's about half an inch from my eye, so it's hard to see the whole composition at once. I'm like struggling. And then I can't see the picture until I take it out of the box. Or back in the day, of course, I couldn't see the picture at all because I was using film. But even with digital cameras now, the whole back of the camera is blocked by the box, and I have to take a bunch of pictures and look at them afterwards. So anyway, so that's, you can see I take just nice shots of people. They're posed right here, or action shots. I love doing action. I love doing cosplay, martial arts, and sometimes cosplay and martial arts and action. I put it all together, and I go to conventions and I get people jumping in the air and twirling, or running, whatever, and I capture them because people are not used to moving during a photo. It's like if you're taking a picture of people, they just stop and they look at the lens. But most of my shots are saying, look where you're aiming your weapon or where your fists are. I don't need you to look at my lens all the time. So that's what kind of separates my style from a lot of other things. So anyway, if there's anything that my services, including filmmaking, can be of use, then let's collaborate.
I can certainly figure some stuff out. I mean, I have projects of my own, but yeah, definitely we can talk. But I guess my question to you in this case, obviously, looking over your resume, I'm looking mainly through IMDb right now. You've had a career that's lasted decades, and I'm guessing close to, if not the last project that David Carradine ever did too.
That was like 30 years ago. Yeah.
Well, I mean, you had one from 2010, which was the last project, but also, I mean, I'm looking at this right now. Boris Karloff, Man Behind the Monster. Right. You did camera op on that.
Right.
All right.
But yeah.
My name is Scott Churchson. I'm the new guest host right now for the Keith Andrew Network.
Right.
But I mean, I'm looking over this right now. Now, with something like this, obviously, it's more of a documentary style kind of a thing. So
Right.
with the camera op, I'm guessing, basically, I'm curious, who was basically the person that hosted this, I guess? Do we know?
There's the guy from England that was, he was directing, and he was asking questions off camera.
Okay.
Okay. Thomas Hamilton.
Okay.
Right. Yeah.
I see that. Yeah. Okay. So basically, in this case, I mean, obviously, some of the people that were there were archived footage. I'm assuming, but I mean, Orson Bean is still around. Last I knew, John Landis was still at that point. So you got the opportunity. You got the opportunity to hang out with a lot of cool people.
Very much so. That was really cool. But unfortunately, Orson Bean died recently, about a year and a half ago or so.
Yeah.
He had an accident, but we interviewed him at his home in Venice, California. And unfortunately, several people are no longer with us that are in our project. What was his name? That Dick. He was in Gremlins.
Peter Bogdanovich died earlier this year, I believe, too.
That's right. So there's at least 3 that we interviewed that are no longer here.
I forget if Christopher Plummer still. Anyway, sorry, go ahead.
Yeah, no, Christopher Plummer. He was like up in Canada, so I wasn't invited to shoot that one because of the budget and stuff. So. Sure,
and also in this case here, based at the time. I mean, I don't know if you were filming this in 2020, but COVID might have been an issue then too.
No, I didn't feel. No, I think it was pretty much right before COVID.
Okay,
it was when we were shooting this.
Just under.
Yeah.
But that's really cool. I mean, in your case, with everything that happened with Power Rangers, you got the pictures behind you. I mean, the original 6, we'll call it, if you include Green Ranger there too. Obviously, I know.
Of genre of Japanese movies and things, Godzilla and robot films, and so I felt very connected to what it was, and who could imagine that it would be such a big hit when it was such a modestly budgeted show when we began.
I'm jealous. Everyone loved the Pink Ranger. Go ahead. I'm sorry.
Oh, I did. You guys froze. That's why I was like. I couldn't hear you. First it cut off, and now I see you. But Bruce, you're kind of like frozen a little bit. But for me personally, I like the Yellow Ranger.
Yeah. I kind of connected with the Yellow Ranger more. So, but unfortunately, she passed away from a car accident.
Yeah.
It's kind of eerie if you think about it. I think it was like 2 days before. So someone said it was 2 days before September 11th she passed away.
About a week before.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So she never knew about the Twin Towers getting hit and all that.
But the one thing I do. Oh, go ahead, Scott.
I was going to say the singer Aaliyah died a few days prior too.
Who was that?
Aaliyah, the singer.
Oh, okay.
There's an R&B singer. Yeah. So. Sorry, Keith. Go ahead, bud.
Oh, not a problem. I was gonna say, going to looking at the pictures, I always thought when I was a kid, Jason, and Tommy. Funny thing I'll tell you about Tom, Jason Frank and Matt. They were actually wearing the costumes, and that's sort of behind the scenes. And sometimes when you watch behind the scenes, it's good, but sometimes it kills it. But I'll give you an example of how it kills it. You watch Bewitched. I was obsessed with Samantha. I would have loved to have a woman like that. But then I found she was a complete asshole. Now, like, thanks to behind the scenes, she just completely ruined that character for me. And when I was watching Power Rangers behind the scenes, and I realized none of them sometimes weren't a row. I cannot picture right behind you during the command center. They weren't wearing their outfits. They were the stunt people, and they were doing the voices for them. So knowing that, it kind of takes away from it.
Well, that's Jason David Frank in costume right there. Mm-hmm. I can vouch for that. But yeah, these are all extras in costume. And then you can see the Yellow Ranger was a guy in that particular scene or photo.
Well, the original Japanese one, the Yellow Ranger was a guy.
True.
So,
right. Absolutely. Jason David Frank actually said a while ago at Comic-Con, if I find it, I will show you guys. He's like, he does MMA and all that. And he actually said, well, look at it like this. If you beat me up, people are going to remember you as the guy who beat up the Green Ranger. Now, if I beat you, you're going to be the guy who lost to the Green Ranger. So I have nothing to lose. So for that, I use it for myself. I'm like, that's a good idea. Now, if I beat you in a fight, you lost to a guy with disabilities. If you kick my ass, people will remember you as for someone who beat up someone with disabilities. So I had nothing to lose.
Well, I guess it's all in our favor then, right? I mean, I did have a little sparring match with Austin St. John on the set. But I mean, we didn't go that far, and he's far a better fighter than I am, of course. But they still couldn't take the risk that I might hurt him. So the assistant director interrupted us, and we never really resolved it. So, but still, I was flattered that they considered me as a possibility that I could injure the Red Ranger.
Speaking of that. Yeah, Scott, I remember the story where Van Damme was his whole household name, and he got his ass kicked by a drunk, and that was it. His career was over.
And yet it's kind of come back, though, ever since Expendables 2.
Yeah.
Yep. Yeah, no, it's more, Steven Seagal is more of a, like he was, what was that guy, the wrestler that was working with Bruce Lee? Oh, shoot, he was in the Green Hornet. I'm drawing a blank. But anyway, he grappled with Seagal, and this guy is much older than Seagal, yet he still, he made shame on Seagal. I'm so feeling bad that I can't remember his name.
Well, there's another one where Sylvester Stallone and Stone Cold Steve Austin in Expendables. And it's Sylvester Stallone, this guy, you guys may know this, and he's like, oh, hit me as hard as you can. You don't want that. No, hit me as hard as you can. Next thing you know, later on in the day, Sylvester Stallone suffers broken neck by a professional wrestler.
Yeah.
But he did say hit him as hard as he can.
Well, that also happened in a lot of the Rocky movies, too. I know that Dolph Lundgren knocked him down a few times. Antonio Carver in Rocky Balboa, the sixth one, sent him to the hospital. I think he knocked him unconscious a couple times as well. So credit to Stallone. He's willing to take the hits for the role.
That's true. But humans are delicate, and scripts are what makes people look like they're almost indestructible.
Oh yeah, strips and good stunt doubles and good editing.
Right.
Now, I do have a couple questions for you guys off the air, but one thing I do want to ask you, how can our fans and listeners get in touch with you? Scott, you're on LinkedIn, Facebook, and all social medias, and your Instagrams will be on the bottom of the screen. But what is the best way for people to get in touch with you?
Well, my website is scottchurchson.com, so SCO 2 T's, CHURCHSON.com. You can also find me at Streampunk Entertainment, which is the company we've just launched as well. But either one, all works. Basically, all the social media channels, you can basically somewhere or another will get their way back to me.
No, absolutely. What about you, Bruce?
Well, you just if you put my name in text somewhere, I can be found on Facebook pretty easily, Bruce Heinsius. And I'm probably the world's most Googleable Heinsius, because it's a very uncommon name, and how many people are going to be in the movie industry and stuff like I am. So you can easily Google me and find another way to reach me.
No, absolutely. Now, about wrapping up our very special episode, it was a real honor and privilege having a call for you on the show. I'll say thank you very much, and I'm looking forward to catching up with you once again down the road. I just want to say thank you very much.